Well, folks, we're here. I'm at my buddy's workplace. He works for WEPG Radio out of South Pittsburgh, AM 910. He's on-air personality. He also does work for the TV station. One other thing that he does really well is he does a lot of voices, and I want to introduce him to you right now. He's an old college roommate of mine, Will, TheVoiceMan Rodgers. Say hello to the fans out there on YouTube, Will.
Hello, hello, hello in YouTube land.
Well, it's kind of funny how we got to be really good friends. The first time that we ever met, we both were at Lincoln. We had both come up to try out for choir scholarships.
Yes, we did.
And audition. You actually ended up getting choir scholarship. I unfortunately did not, but I think you'd had some choir training.
Yeah.
Whereas I had none of that whatsoever. Voice. Acting.
Yeah, when we met, I didn't really remember that, but it was the second time around was the meeting that I recall.
Yeah, what had happened was we had I think it was like the first week, and I think it was like that Friday evening, we had just finished choir practice, and I had gotten my backpack, and I was walking out the door, and you had sat down at the piano, and you started playing the theme from The Incredible Hulk.
Which is known, the closing theme of The Incredible Hulk is known as the Lonely Man theme, which was scored by the late Joe Harnell.
Very good trivia. but I remember when you started playing that, I was about halfway to the door, and I turned around and I was like, wait a minute, I know this theme, I recognize it, and we got to talking, and I was a big fan of the TV show, and of course at that time, they had been running it on some of the channels like WGN out of Chicago that you could get like on a basic cable or satellite dish, and I had actually sat down and started watching some of those episodes, and you and we got to comparing notes and talking about episodes, and I think we spent about 2 hours, I think, there after that, just talking about nothing but that show.
That's amazing, isn't it? Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, Jack Colwyn, and producer Kenneth Johnson in that TV series really is what this was put our dot on the map. And I remember exposing you to episodes that you had never seen.
There was some things I had never seen, and I remember you talking to me about an episode that got you hooked that you had never been able to find, and I managed to get it when Sci-Fi started running The Incredible Hulk on.
And that brings back a fond memory. If you don't mind, let me recall this.
Go ahead.
When I was a little kid, the first time I ever saw the Incredible Hulk series was the spring of '78. It followed Wonder Woman. It was a show where they incorporated footage from the movie Duel, which, by the way, I owe you thanks for exposing that to me, because now I have it on video and I'm going to get the DVD.
Yeah, one thing that was notable about Duel was it's probably one thing that you could probably talk about to Steven Spielberg, is talking about that particular episode of The Incredible Hulk, and I'd say probably to this day you could still get him mad, because at that time he had worked for Paramount, and Paramount it was within their contract to use stock footage from movies and TV shows, and when they used stock footage from Duel in that episode of the Hulk, it really made him angry, and of course he didn't like it. But
you wouldn't like him when he's angry.
but what it ended up happening was, because of that, Paramount, he really couldn't do anything because Paramount had the rights to it. Right. But after that episode aired, and where he lost the battle with them, he started making contracts that anything that he did, director-wise, producer-wise, anything that he did from that point on could not be used as stock footage. That was part of his contract.
That clause, and there was nothing he could do about it because Universal owned the rights to both. So
right. He
initiated that clause. But here's one of the fondest Hulk memories that I remember, and it was after you got the Sci-Fi Channel. It was hard to catch the first season on reruns because it was a short season. Well, those episodes were running during the holidays, and you had taped some of them. So I remember that one Friday night when we came back to start the next semester, your freshman year, my junior year, you and I went out to Pizza Hut in Middlesboro, Kentucky. We got a pizza, we got some Twix candy bars or something like that, and we also got our Coca-Cola, our sodas. We went back, we watched Death in the Family, Final Round, Terror in Times Square, and 2 episodes that I already had.
The Hulk Breaks Las Vegas.
Then 747, The Hulk Breaks Las Vegas, and Never Give a Trucker an Even Break.
That was the one that he was talking about.
And here's what's so ironic. during that time when I was in college, see, a buddy of mine in Pigeon Forge had taped a lot of episodes when they were running on a channel that you had seen them on. And I remember he had gotten all the 2-hour or the 2-part episodes except one, and that was the award-winning Married episode. And that was my holy grail. That was the Chase episode. Just couldn't get it. I only got, somebody taped part 1 and the picture jumped. But, and just lo and behold, years later, it came out on Columbia House and now it's uncut on DVD.
Sweet.
Sweet.